Well, he put out a video about a week ago about something having to do with high school classrooms. So I'm kind of curious what he's talking about because it says he looks at a high school classroom and instantly loses his mind. So my curiosity is piqued. Let's find out what he loses his mind about.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Somebody sent me an email that I'm guessing is from a school. This made me fucking sick to my stomach. And I don't have children, and I'm glad that I don't, because if I did have children, I'd probably be showing up at all the school board hearings, asking about this, and probably getting myself arrested. So this is from, I don't know if this is high school, junior high school, what it is, but look at this. Integrity means doing right, even when no one's watching. But yeah, we are watching. Okay, here we go. At Estrella Foot Hall is high school. So this is a high school, not a junior high school. Doesn't make it okay. Integrity means doing right even when no one's watching, but yeah, we are watching. Cameras keep us safe. Wolf Pride keeps us honest. We don't do good things just because we're on camera. We do them because we're good people. Do good because it's right, not because you're on camera. Be the reason that others feel safe.
Even though you're on camera.
It doesn't say, yeah, but by the way, you're on camera and we're watching. This is so sadistic to me. You're conditioning young people to be okay with somebody watching them all the time. And see, there's a difference between, there's a number of things that I have a problem with here, and you tell me what you think. Number one is the idea of associating a camera with safety. I had a business in New York City for almost 15 years. What a camera does not keep my employees safe. What the camera does is after somebody walks in and shoots Kevin, Dan, Patrick, or Han, if that occurred, the camera would allow.
Hi, Clitty. Look, your papa's here. It's your papa. Say hi to papa.
To get a 2-megapixel version of a nice little picture of who did it. The camera does not keep you safe, right? It just allows me to see who did the thing that they shouldn't have done. Because most criminals are really fucking stupid. And if they weren't stupid, they'd find something else to do with their fucking life other than just rob people to make money. But more importantly, this is grooming to me. You're grooming people to be okay with the idea that they're being watched everywhere they go from a young age, and that's far.
Okay, so I've got to say this. There's another layer here that I don't know if Lewis is going to be getting into it shortly. It's bearing in mind. High schools in America are a shit show right now. How often do you guys hear about a high school, like with, God forbid, shootings that occur in high school, fights that are breaking out all the time, stabbings that are happening? We watched Rich's video where he went over the details of that stabbing at that sporting event at that one high school in Texas, I believe it was. High schools in America are an absolute shit show. And with the cameras, I see that, yes, Carmelo Anthony, correct. I look at these cameras not like in the way Lewis is looking at that. The way I view these is I think they actually have someone, like they actually have security personnel on these cameras, watching these cameras during the course of the day, while they actually have like security patrolling around the school. And with the cameras, they can see if you got 2 people or more people that start getting into it, they can get on the radio and they can immediately dispatch those security people to that area where people are fighting. Because the reality is, high schools are a fucking war zone these days. High schools are not in good shape. They're like, kids are getting into fights all the fucking time. The teachers cannot do anything about it. And, well, no, Revan, they do. A lot of schools have budgeted in security now. A lot of times they're pulling in off-duty police officers. A lot of off-duty police officers will work a side gig as security for schools. Sad, I do. I do think that some of these schools will actually be paying security to watch the cameras. Like as part of their security detail, they'll probably rotate them. But yes, I do think that they actually will bother to pay security to watch the cameras. Well, yeah, but did they maybe bear they may be barely paying the teachers, but they also may be paying the security a little bit less than wage, so they may be paying a mat. I do, but that's the side of this that I don't know if Lewis is going to be looking into, is that schools right now, Edwards, are largely speaking, are war zones. And they need them for security so they can direct their security personnel where to go, or more importantly, so they can have evidence. This is also like security footage so they can have evidence either to protect them from lawsuits or evidence for criminal cases. Like that is, I think, the overriding reason why we're seeing all these cameras in all of these schools is a great deal of CYA and evidence, because while the teachers can't get involved, and if they don't have security that can watch the cameras or enough adequate security to be patrolling, then it can be used as evidence for any criminal proceedings. So bottom line is it is a CYA thing. And with the current state of schools in America, I can't fault them. I can't.
You're grooming people to be okay with the idea that they're being watched everywhere they go from a young age. And that's far more insidious to me than me simply having a camera in my store that points at the front desk and the cash register and the laptop shelf. Like, there's a difference between knowing you're on camera and then having this type of propaganda. Cameras keep us safe. Pride keeps us honest.
Okay, I see where he's going with this. Okay, so he's not objecting to the cameras themselves. He's objecting to the propagandization of the cameras. Yeah, okay, I see where I misconstrued where he was looking at, where the issue he was taking with this. Yeah, so yes, now I see where he's going with this. That the school is trying to indoctrinate them into authoritarianism. Okay, now I see where he's going, and yeah, I get it.
We don't just do good things because we're on camera. We do them because we're good people. Integrity means doing the right thing even when no one's watching, but yeah, we are watching. There's something about telling kids, but yeah, we are watching, that is weird.
Big brother.
You're conditioning people to be okay with being surveilled. We already live in a world where there is no such thing as privacy. We already live in a world where they're in the public or private sphere, for the most part. If you're in high school right now, you probably don't even remember what it was like to spend money on software. Like, you just use stuff that just sucks up all your data. Think about it. If you're 13 years old right now, that means that you were born in 2012. 8 years after Gmail was popularized for essentially reading through every single email that you ever sent, ever received, in exchange for 1 gigabyte of storage and 25 megabyte attachments. Great deal that we had. You don't know what it was like to use Usenet and forums that operated on PHPBB that did not just suck up every single bit of your personal data and used it to sell you targeted ads. You don't remember what it was like to be able to drive down a road with your parents that didn't have an AI surveillance camera above it. This is being used to try and convince the young generations, being used to convince children that this is normal. It is your duty, if you go to this high school, to remove this. I'm telling you as an adult that
Okay. And also, let me repeat what he said.
Normal. Convince the young generations, being used to convince children that this is normal.
It kind of goes beyond that. It's also abdicating the schools and the parents, more importantly, their responsibility of raising a decent child. Like, this is a major factor involved in this, is that it's more on the parents than schools, for sure. But it's like we have seen so many parents and schools abdicating their responsibilities of teaching these kids right from wrong, teaching them morals, teaching them character, and just saying, fuck it, they'll get busted on the camera and then they'll suffer the consequences, so we're not going to do anything. Instead of, before it reaches that point, the parents, and to a degree the schools, teach and instill good character, good values, and good morals in their children. And they're just, no, we'll just like, we'll let the cameras nanny our kids for us. And we're not going to do a thing. We're just going to fuck off and do our own thing. That's the heart of this. If parents actually educated their kids and gave their kids good morals and taught their children to have good character, to be decent fucking people, the cameras wouldn't be needed. Because I know this might shock everybody, schools for a very long time didn't have cameras. And I would argue that that students of like middle and high schools were far better behaved when there were no cameras in the schools. Yes, there were fights. There's always going to be fights. This is a part of adolescence. There always will. But back when there were no cameras in schools, I would argue that the kids were better behaved. Why? Because if the kids misbehaved, the parents would actually get called in, the schools would call them to task, and then the parents would call the children to task, and they would actually discipline them. And the parents actually raise their kids to have moral character. Edge ambassador, okay, I doubt. I like not to the degree that we're talking about here. No, Zeb, I don't think I have rose-colored glasses. I don't. I don't think I do. We have seen an increase in violence in schools, and coupled with that violence, we are also seeing cameras becoming standardized in schools. And again, this is all stemming back from the parents. Now, this is paradoxical of what came first, the cameras or the increase in violence. There was you could make that argument of to the uptick in violence because parents stop instilling morals in their kids come first, or did the cameras come first? That argument can be made. Absolutely. And I don't have the answer. But there is a correlation there. They're like the two circumstances are mated together. One is working in tandem with the other. And so now we are at the point where it's just like, fuck it, we'll use the cameras and we'll be reactionary instead of proactive and actually teaching the kids
I was
first.
homeschooled from 4th grade on, but when I was in public school, no cameras and students were mostly behaved.
Andrea, what kind of school did you attend? I thought you were a professional. Not that kind of professional. I'm sorry, Andrea. I had to give you a little bit of shit on the typo. I'm sorry. I had to do it. It was right there. It was served up to me on a silver platter. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
It is your duty, if you go to this high school, to remove this. I'm telling you as an adult that being watched all the time every way that you go is not normal. And I'm telling you that it takes a specific, sick, sadistic fucking piece of shit to look at children that are half their age and try and normalize the concept that we are watching you all the time. That's
no, Louis, more than half. Most of these people making these decisions to try and normalize surveillance in schools, let's be real, they're like 50, 60 years old. They are like triple the age of the students. Okay, well, let's be fucking real here. These are old fucks that don't know fuck all about modern society, modern technology, and they're the ones saying, "Oh, we'll just put cameras in and just get them to like it."
not okay. There's a difference between having a camera in the front of a school and then having this type of propaganda poster in the school. I'm not a parent, but I'm just very curious for the people in my audience who are parents. How would you feel about in your child's school them having all these propaganda posters and normalizing the concept that you're being watched everywhere that you go? I didn't have cameras in my classroom when I was a kid. We had a camera for the front door, probably. We had cameras for like the exits, the entrance, that type of shit. There wasn't a camera in every fucking classroom.
Yeah.
But even if you are going to have a camera in the classroom, having the camera in the classroom with the little fucking blue LED on it, which none of the cameras that I have at my store have, on top of this, it seems like a bit.
And what he was just talking about there with they did the camera with the blue LED, that's to normalize it. This is to normalize it. So kids get so used to seeing a camera with that blue LED that they just think it's normal. And they don't think anything of it. They don't think, oh yeah, I'm getting surveilled, like they're invading my privacy. It's to try and normalize this, maybe even outside the school.
Much. Yeah, I don't care if somebody says that's bad behavior. I don't care if somebody says, Lois, you're a bad influence. I don't fucking care. If you get detention for taking that sign down, good. I have 2 businesses, 3 nonprofits. I would be more likely to hire you if you said on your resume, the reason that I got an F, the reason that I was suspended is that I tore down propaganda promoting surveillance in my school. And you showed me that picture. Mrs. Friedland made my parents cry in 4th grade. I'll never forget this worst teacher on earth by telling my parents, your son is never going to be able to get a real job and he's never going to be able to integrate into normal society. That woman was correct. I have not gotten a real job and I haven't integrated into normal society and I'm happier for it. If that's what normal society is, fuck that. Take that shit down.
Ugh.
Don't think that that's normal. And if the adults in your life are telling you that that is normal, then there's something wrong with them. It's just my opinion. I don't usually talk about issues when it comes to school board meetings or like what they're teaching kids and any of that. I don't delve into that on this channel, but seeing this struck a nerve with me. I don't have kids, but if I had kids, I'd be raising hell over that. I don't give a shit if there's some fucking news article somewhere that says like, you 36-year-old YouTuber corrupts youth and gets them all suspended or whatever. I don't care. We are on the event horizon right now. You normalized the Patriot Act. We have normalized the fact that almost every private company sucks up your personal data. We've normalized the idea that your washing machine sells your personal data. We're starting to normalize the concept of having a camera placed every fucking telephone pole all around your city so that they can keep a record of where everybody goes all the time. We are at the event horizon. The last part of this would be normalizing the concept of constant surveillance to the youth so that people who were not old enough to even remember what it was like to grow up with freedom or privacy think that this is actually a good thing.
I mean, just look at the UK. They're like, this is in the US pushing towards the nanny state that the UK's in. The UK is very widely known as having the largest CCTV network in the world, I believe. And China might be more, but at least for now. Hefe, that's where I'm going. Is the UK is just like there's CCTV fucking everywhere. And look at people UK strays. It feels normal, doesn't it? I'm guessing it feels completely normal for you to be monitored by CCTV no matter where you go, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I'm gonna hazard a guess and say that you guys don't even really think about it. And that's kind of the direction that's what Lewis is talking about here. Lewis is furious that the US is going that route where the US is going to turn into a surveillance state and they're going to be brainwashing the citizenry to just accept it and not even think about it anymore and just think, oh, this is totally normal and not even notice and allow the government to monitor you 24/7 and be able to start doing like what the UK is doing and arresting you for saying something mean or praying in your own head. Basically, we can take there's the through line. And I guarantee you that's what Lewis is so upset about is he can see the through line of where the US is going with surveillance and where it's going to end up with the UK. Where the UK has become a surveillance state, has become a nanny state, that will monitor you for everything, that will turn the cameras into basically a targeting system with facial ID that will fuck up. Because I believe this was in the UK recently that someone in the UK with like the recognition software misidentified a bag of chips as a gun. That happened recently. Is that, and I think this was in the UK, one of the like threat recognition AI softwares in the CCTV, a guy had a bag of chips and it identified the bag of chips as a gun. And they're using this same AI technology to do facial recognition to try and catch criminals. Like thought criminals in the UK. So that and Tornado, I believe so. I believe that the system dispatched police to his location because it misidentified his bag of chips as gun. I believe. I don't remember exactly. I believe the police got dispatched to him. Because otherwise you wouldn't have even heard about it as a story if the police weren't dispatched to him. So I imagine that's the through line that Lewis is seeing, is because people in the UK, surveillance feels normal. It feels completely normal for them, and we have seen where vast nanny state surveillance, where it ends up.
This is not a good thing. I'm not here to try to get people to buy this brand of sneaker, to buy this phone instead of that phone or anything like that. There's not the type of influence.
Happened in a high school in England. He had a bag of Doritos. His parents were called and the whole SWAT team arrived at the school and locked it all down. Yeah. Thank you, Andrea. Yeah. Because he had a bag of Doritos and the AI threat recognition system in the camera said his bag of Doritos was a gun. Yeah.
To get people to buy this brand of sneaker, to buy this phone instead of that phone or anything like that. There's not the type of influencer I want to be. But if I could have had one effect on the world, if I could have the effect of the next generation realizing that when their teachers or their principal tells them that this type of shit is normal and not creepy, that they reject it and say the fuck it is and rip that stuff off the wall, I can die happy. This is not normal. Yeah. Do not let the people in your school tell you that that is normal. If I had internalized what Mrs. Friedland had told me and my parents, that your son is never going to be able to integrate into the normal world and he will never get a normal job, I would have lived a very different life. I would have had a much different effect on the world. Probably nothing. I'd probably still be putting price tags on basketballs right now, making $6 or $7 an hour, not doing anything, not helping other people, not trying to clean up my corner of the world. She's right. I didn't have what it took to integrate into the normal world. And maybe if you're the type of person that reads this and you think that this is not normal, maybe you don't integrate into the normal world either. Because if that's what the normal world is, I don't want to be a part of it. And I don't think you should either. I want you to be open to learning. I want you to study, and I want you to keep an open mind. And part of keeping an open mind is being open to the idea that constant surveillance is not for your benefit. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. Tear that shit down. It's fucking creepy. If that was happening at my kid's school, I'd tear that shit down myself. See you in the next video.
Yeah. That's fucking scary. You know. He didn't say it outright. I'm a little surprised he didn't say it outright, but he's basically cautioning people against 1984. That's what he's doing. He is cautioning people against the potentials of 1984. Because the UK is already there. The UK is already there. Let's not fuck around with it. He's cautioned people of it coming to America.